China has identified the cause of the mysterious pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan city. It's a new type of coronavirus.
Italy has reported the highest one-day death toll from coronavirus than any other country.
Italy faces growing isolation.
Almost 32,000 people have died.
From today onwards is that travellers from the EU and the UK can come into the country without that mandatory 2-week quarantine period, and international flights will be arriving.
Okay, let's quickly back up. It is July 2020 and I'm about to board a flight from London to Italy. This is the first airport I've been in since the pandemic hit in March of this year. Italy was one of the worst affected countries in Europe, but as of the 3rd of June, it opened its borders to a number of European countries without requiring visitors to quarantine. So is it really safe to be traveling to Italy right now? And why are they welcoming millions of tourists so soon after lockdown? Well, I'm gonna board this flight and find out firsthand for myself. I have to remember how to drive on the left side of the road? I don't know. I have to learn how to drive. So, welcome to the island of Sardinia off the coast of Italy. I'm here with my girlfriend Julia. We decided to come to Sardinia because we know it really well. We have friends here. This is the town we're staying in. It's called Bossa. It's this quaint little town and it's very quiet and it just seems pretty easy to social distance around here. But yeah, we know this place really well. It's a really easy place for us to just kind of relax. And after looking into all the guidelines laid out, we booked our flights. And that night, that got me thinking. Are people doing the same thing? Was it a bad idea? Will it be really busy and will everybody be just going away like us? Or are people trying to stay away from travel? And if so, how will that affect the countries that rely on tourism to keep their economy afloat? Countries like Italy. Just climbed into this cave and hit my head on the rock. God damn it. So each year, 61.6 million tourists visit Italy every year. It's the 5th most visited country in the world. And come on, do you really need me to justify why people come here? And damn, 61.6 million tourists, that's a lot of people each year coming into one country. This is a video I made last summer in Venice about how mass tourism is affecting the famous city of Venice. Link below if you want to check it out after this video. And in that video I mentioned how Venice is in this weird position. Tourism is keeping Venice financially afloat, but it's also at a critical point where it's a significant factor in sinking the city itself. And that second statement can be applied to the rest of the country. Because currently 13% of Italy's GDP is from tourism. It produces 1.54 million jobs. That is a huge pillar of Italy's economy. So imagine if that suddenly went away or was interrupted by something like a global pandemic. And in the aftermath, how do countries like Italy financially recover and encourage people that this is a safe place to holiday to, as well as maintaining the health and well-being of its people and to prevent a second wave of the coronavirus?
Returns to the central bank.
It accounts for 13% of the GDP, so very important sector for the country.
Well, you could look at us and say, well, yeah, people are going abroad. Andy, you are abroad right now. But I don't think you can use us as a prime example. So I want to talk to people here in Sardinia whose livelihoods are actually tied to tourism and find out how the last few months have affected them, their business, and what they foresee the future of tourism in Italy looking like. But before we get to that, let's have a quick look at how the coronavirus played out in Italy. And it's affected everybody in an unbelievable amount of ways, and different countries have had different tactics to how they've dealt with the ongoing pandemic. So this is how it went down in Italy. On the 30th of January, 2 Chinese tourists in Rome tested positive for the coronavirus. The Italian government immediately banned all flights to and from China. And then on the 26th of February, with the number of Italians known to be infected by the coronavirus tripling every 48 hours, hospitals were overwhelmed. Italian doctors and nurses had run out of PPE, and the ventilators were pretty much non-existent. An urgent message was passed from Rome by the Italian Prime Minister to the EU member states for help. But the distress call was met with silence. Not one member state responded to Italy's request. A recent Guardian article revealed that not only was Italy not prepared, the European Union was not prepared. This has definitely tested the countries in the EU, because the basic premise is to unite Europe and to support the 27 nations. And in Italy's case, they failed. Now, jumping forward to the 9th of March 2020, Italy was the first country in Europe to lock down its borders, and it was seen as the most dramatic step taken by any country at this time to contain the epidemic, as they faced the biggest outbreak of the virus outside of China. And as the days passed on, the daily cases started to rise and more hospitals started to hit capacity. The lockdown measures here became increasingly stricter.
Ciao, come stai? Bene,
Now, I'm going to talk to Angelo. You might recognize him from previous videos like the Venice episode. I wanted to see how this had affected him in Sardinia. What was lockdown like here?
Literally, you can't go outside. If you want to go outside, you had to have a good reason. You need to print a paper that allows you to go outside. You have to show this to the police if they stop you.
You work in tourism. Did it affect you? Has it affected you?
People start to cancel all the reservation for the hotels and things like that. He had a few trips for work, but when all these problems started, of course they cancel these trips, and I thought it would be hard to work this summer. But when they stopped the lockdown and they said, okay, you can start to go outside, a lot of companies contact me because they wanted to promote their services. So it was good. I didn't expect this, but yeah, it was good for me. Do you remember yesterday when we were talking about why people should come to Sardinia? Mm-hmm. Let me show you why. All right, take a look at this.
They call this the sleeping giant.
Now, it's usually places like this that draw people into traveling. The sense of adventure, a place to relax in taking different cultures and breathtaking views, but this isn't normal times. Restaurants, hotels, airlines, cities, governments are all putting out incentives to try and get people to get out there, spend money, travel, with the aim to get the economy up and running again. And, well, is it working?
Is this busy for Alghero in July?
No.
This is the main strip in Alghero, and it may look busy, but this is very quiet compared to years before. The most important thing is whenever you go into a restaurant or a shop, everybody's wearing a mask. Quick side note, I haven't obviously traveled in 6 months. I haven't walked around with a camera in a really hot city, and I've forgotten how sweaty I can get, how hard it can be just to be like doing this in this heat. I'm out of practice. So we're currently at Cintino alla Pelosa, which is one of Sardinia's most famous and beautiful beaches. I mean, it looks like I'm in Hawaii right now. The water is just crystal clear. We had to get a wristband a few days before. We had to book a place to come here. This is what it looks like. I kind of think it's busy, but I'm going to talk to some lifeguards that work here, some people in the restaurants, and see what they're saying.
Obviously, they don't know when everything will go back. Maybe it will take 2 or 3 years, and then they have to check what does it mean normality, because maybe it will be better. I mean, because here there are maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people, but now only 1,500. You have to book online, so It's also better because they have under control the situation.
Riempiendo, stiamo lavorando bene con gli stanziamenti.
Has business been okay?
Now, yes, when they said that 50% less.
Wow. And what are they doing to keep people safe?
They are thinking positive, so they are doing their best to keep safe and to work in the best way. All the tables are outside. They have social distancing from each table. They automatically knows now that if you have to go inside, you have to wear a mask.
It's very likely that tourism here and in mainland Italy will pick up over time. However, the Italian Prime Minister said that he couldn't wait. He made a statement in May acknowledging the ease of border crossings, combined with other steps Italy was taking to return to some sort of normality. He acknowledged doing so could spark a surge in cases of the virus.
Altrimenti non potremo mai ripartire.
But he argued doing so was a necessary step to get the economy up and running again. But back to the wider question, will we see an increase in new cases? Italy has been open to Europe for almost 2 months now. In a weird way, some of the videos and advertisements and incentives, as they were, of trying to get people to visit Italy, and they're all kind of like, oh no, we're safe, don't worry, we're COVID secure, it's okay. And maybe that's true, but part of me is like, it kind of feels like propaganda. Yeah, I really want these businesses to thrive and I want these people to be okay, and it looks like people here are resilient and they're bouncing back. But I can't help think what this could do to the wider population. One thing that I did find a bit odd when I did ask one business owner this, I'm not going to put him on camera because I don't want to reveal his business or jeopardize it in any way, but I think it's important to say, I asked him, are you prepared for another shutdown? What are you going to do? And he said, we're trying to do the best we can now. And I was like, okay, great. But then he said, the thing is, our restaurant is outside and everybody sits outside and COVID can't get you outside. I was like, that's not exactly true. Okay, I'm currently filming from the Airbnb. I've turned off all the fans and shut the windows so they're not making noises. If I start to sweat badly, because it's very hot here, well, I apologize. Life here does seem somewhat normal again, at least here in Sardinia, and if you regard normal as wearing a face mask inside and socially distancing. And obviously bear in mind, this is just one person's perspective. This is just what I have seen in the last week and from the research that I've done myself. But if your circumstances allow it, this could be the only time you could visit Italy in such relaxed settings. Yes, Italy has stabilized. There are more people coming into the country and the restaurant industry are welcoming these people in with open arms. They're happy to be serving people and to have people here. And from the people I spoke to in Stintino, they also seem pleased to have people to serve, even if it is a limited number. But if you look at the hotels, they are nowhere near hitting capacity. In fact, they're pretty low. With long-haul travel from the US and Asia still suspended, that's a big chunk of change that is missing. And what am I on about? 230 billion euros a year from tourism in Italy is not a chunk of change. But yeah, a significant portion of that comes from the US and the East. And in Florence, flights are still down by 90% compared to this time last year. But as Italy and the wider world adapts to these new conditions, it feels really great to be able to travel again and to come to Italy in places like this. At the beginning of the pandemic, I didn't think I'd be coming to Italy for a long, long time. So it feels really good to be able to come here and to be helping these local businesses get back on their feet. But the overall experience of traveling in a pandemic has actually been relatively smooth and easy. We spent the last few months being hyper vigilant with our actions and who we see and where we go. So this felt like a natural and easy step for me going forward. Now, this could all completely flip, and I really hope it doesn't, but you could be watching this video in a month's time and things are very different here in Italy. But Italy has started to stabilize. The economy is gonna take a big hit, but these small businesses are focusing on what they can do to bring back a sense of normality and to get back to where they were. And now that they head into August, one of the busiest months, the tourism industry continues to recover in the best way that they possibly can. that is it for this video. That's our time in Italy. If you're thinking of going away this summer, do your own research and due diligence before you leave. Check official sources if it's safe to travel to that country that you're going to. Check all those sort of things. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'm in the airport. My name is Andy. I make travel explainers from countries and cities about things that make me curious. If you're still around, I assumed you enjoyed this, so please consider subscribing, liking this video, and I hope you found this video informative and somewhat enjoyable. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.